it's early December, and this is our box contents. John, the head chef here at Sophie's restaurant, buys produce from us all year long, and we are grateful for that. Thank you, John. And here's some beautiful dragon carrots that we just picked out underneath the snow this morning. Beautiful Romanesco cauliflower. Knead Bakery, Knead, beautiful sourdough bread, locally baked artisan bread here in Hood River. We've got, of course, the beautiful portobellos and cremini mushrooms, also beautiful. Broccoli, cabbage, a gigantic parsnip, turnips, beautiful beets with their greens miraculously underneath the hoop houses this late in the winter. And a variety of apples and pears, beautiful Comise pears, the 18th century still life French Comise pear, classic. Some wonderful Mountain Rose apples, and Oregon's own red flesh apple, just terrific. Great local cheese, organic of course, locally farm raised free-range chicken eggs, some Panova apples, and there you go, the box is empty. I'm going to turn the show over to John, and he's going to get cooking and show you guys a couple of tricks of the trade to make a wonderful dish out of what you just got at your doorstep from Hood River Organic.
So I want to do a dish that was inspired by the box that you guys just saw. And the things that jumped out at me for this dish were the broccoli and the Romanesco, the mushrooms, and the carrots. And the dish is a seared Tombo tuna with a broccoli puree, roasted Romanesco, and grilled portobellos. And the carrots are going to be part of the red wine sauce. It's a carrot puree and to thicken the red wine sauce. And I'll talk about each of those individually. But to start off the broccoli puree, you're going to take an onion that's sliced thin. I'd say about a half an onion for each head of broccoli. And then a shallot sliced thin. It's important to slice them thin so that they cook evenly and the sugars are extracted and makes the puree naturally sweet and softens the onion flavor. So you add your onions and shallot to a pan. I like to use whole butter. You don't want the heat too high, you don't want any caramelization, you just want to gently cook them. It's important to add salt early on in the process. It helps to sweeten it. Cook it down until it's all translucent, and then add the broccoli, which is also important to slice thin. All right, so now that the onions are cooked, we're going to add the broccoli, and we're going to gently cook that. And we want to keep it that al dente sort of texture. It'll keep the puree greener in the end, and it also preserves the vitamins and nutrients that will be lost if you just turn it into mush like most of our grandmothers used to do. Here in Hood River, we're blessed by an amazing abundance of produce, and also the food scene in Portland, which is now nationally recognized, and all of that affects us. We've got a lot of our customers come from Portland, and they appreciate the fact that most of our produce, even now in December, comes to the back door. We try to limit the amount that we order from the big produce companies because it's being trucked from Southern California, Arizona. And if you look at what's available to you and try to plan your meal that way, you can end up with awesome food any month of the year and keep it local. So when making the puree, once again, the important things are to cook the onions first in shallots. And when you add the broccoli, cook it gently until it's still firm. And then when you puree it, you need to add as little liquid as possible. I use water if needed, and extra virgin olive oil, and then salt and pepper to taste. The trick is to not add so much that it becomes a soup, and then you can't use it in a puree on your final dish. So the sauce we're going to do for this dish is a red wine reduction butter sauce, and we're going to use these beautiful carrots as a thickener. We're going to take the carrots, chop them into small pieces, cook them in just water, and cook them till they're soft, and then puree them again. And you're left with a thick puree that will give the sauce body and allow the butter something to bond to. It's also a great alternative to a more traditional sauce, which would incorporate veal stock. Once we have our carrot puree, we're going to make the sauce. We take 1 shallot, 2 cups of red wine, a fresh bay leaf if you have it, and you could add thyme, a sprig of thyme in there to flavor it, and reduce that by about 60%. Strain it, and then we're going to add the carrot puree and whisk in butter, and your sauce is finished. And here's a shot of the final carrot puree. You can see it's nice and thick. So to prepare the Romanesco, we're going to take it off of the head using a knife and just free the individual florets. If you have any that are large, just cut them down. You want these to all be fairly uniform size so they cook evenly. From there, just get a pan hot with olive oil and salt, using olive oil, salt, and pepper. Toss them in the pan, and I like to throw them into about a 500-degree oven for about 3 to 4 minutes until they have a nice, until they soften, and ideally they have a little bit of caramelization on the outside. And for the portobellos, remove the stem and then scrape off the gills. These black gills here, just gently scrape with a spoon. These black gills will color the rest of the dish black, so we like to get rid of them. And to grill the portobello, I like to toss a little olive oil, extra virgin, of course, salt and pepper, and it's ready to grill. So for presentation, I like to take the broccoli puree and, as you saw, make a little pile and just kind of spread your spoon out. It gives a sort of dramatic flair, and it's very simple. Anybody can pull that one off. I've taken the grilled portobello and sliced it, and now I'm going to fan out my Tombo tuna. And we're going to just kind of toss around these Romanesco florets. And the red wine sauce. So here we go. Here's the final plate. Everything on this plate except for the tuna came from Hood River Organics CSA. And this is an example of what we do here at Sophie's Restaurant. So next time you're in Hood River, come check us out. 7 nights a week dinner and a fabulous Sunday brunch.